How much money are you actually going to need to retire? It's mind-boggling to me how so many people really don't know the answer to this question. And there is a science to it, but today I'm gonna make it super simple. I'm gonna give you 4 specific questions, and if you can answer these 4, which are pretty easy to answer, you're gonna have a really solid idea of exactly what you're gonna need for retirement.
'Cause we're gonna be legends. What we're doing here ain't just scary. It's about to be legendary.
This is the most important financial question that you can be asking. In fact, you need to know how much you're gonna need for retirement, but no one really ever knows how to answer it. No one can give you a formula until today. Without a formula, you're just gonna default to society's game plan. And for just a moment, look at what society's game plan actually looks like. They're going to tell you that you should put your money in 401ks, IRAs, and that you should work on paying off your house. And what that's going to do is that's going to leave you with very little money in the bank, and that's going to leave you in a really broke financial mindset, because if you got no money in the bank and all of your money goes into places that you're told don't touch or else you're going to get penalized, it really messes with the brain. I had a unique opportunity and experience as a very young man that really gave me the answer to this at a very young age. I was 22 years old, I was in college, and I got this telemarketing job. And I was talking to people who 30 years earlier was following society's game plan. They were saying, go to college, get good grades, right, and then get a career and work for somebody else. They had all done that. So it was weird. It was like this time warp. In my early 20s, talking to people in their early 50s. And you know what I noticed? I noticed that they had been successful at putting money in their 401ks. Some of them had 50 grand, some of them 150 grand, some of them more. Some had put some money in IRAs for some tax benefits, and then the rest were working on paying off their house. Some people put some money in the stock market, but for the most part, that's what people did. And after 30 years, do you know what they had to show? They had a net worth anywhere from $100,000 to $300,000, $400,000, $500,000. Now, here's the crazy part. Most of those people were living off, because they had kids and families, they were living off of $70,000, $80,000, $90,000, or $100,000 a year. So after 30 years, they had saved enough that if they had to spend it right now, they'd be able to live for another 3, 4, 5 years, and then they would run out of money. As an early 20-year-old, I thought, this is crazy. My dad told me that I need these good grades to go to college, and now I'm in college, and when I decided I couldn't be a doctor, it was kind of a midlife crisis for me, because I ultimately became super clear with the fact that I'm not going to be the doctor that I wanted, and I'm not smart enough to get, because I just can't rock the chemistry stuff, which means I got to find another degree, and most of the jobs, you know, that you get degrees for pay $30,000 a year, $50,000 a year, $80,000 a year. I'm like, I knew the math. You can't save enough money. In fact, if you make $300,000 a year and you're not disciplined to save half your money, you're not gonna save what you need for retirement. And it became this impossible mathematical equation that no matter what, you weren't gonna make it. That caused me to basically say, I need a functional plan that's not broken, none of this garbage 401k IRA crap. And the other thing that I realized, I'm gonna have to figure out a plan of how to get there. This led me to the information I'm gonna share with you in today's video, which is ultimately, how do you actually know how much you need for retirement? There's 4 questions I believe you need to ask to figure out that number. I've never made a video sharing this information before. I think it's something that you're gonna appreciate, and let me jump in right now. Number 1, the first thing that you need to know, when you're asking the question, what do I need to be financially free? The first question that you should be asking is, how much money do I need to replace my current income? Now, the reason why I start with this is that your current income is a part of the lifestyle. You've built a life for yourself and a style around that life for how much you make. So for some of you, it's $50,000. For some of you, it's $150,000. For some of you, it's $20,000. Whatever the amount is, there's 4 questions for you to live the life that you want on your terms. Number 1, it's going to include replacing your current income. Now, just for argument's sake, we're going to say that this is $60,000. This is important later. Question number 2, how much do you need to live where you want? And I'm talking about, what's that house that you want to live in? What does that dream house really look like? There's a payment that is associated with this. You see, that $60,000 on replacing your income is $5,000 a month. But let's say that you want to live in a beautiful $1 million house. And maybe it's not just a $1 million house, it's a location, or it's in the country, or it's on a beach, or it's something like that. You find out that that house and the mortgage of that house is going to cost you $8,000 a month. So we have $5,000 to replace your income. Then there's $8,000 to live in your house the way you want. And here's the third question. How much travel do you want to do? Because once people have money, do you know what we want to do? Dude, I've been to 40 different countries. I get it. I love world travel. Like, travel freaking lights me up. So how often do you want to travel? I find if most people had the money that they would want to travel 2, 3, 4, or 5 times a year. And depending on whether you want to travel with a backpack or whether you want to travel like lavishly in style, if you're going to pay out 10 grand a trip and take 4 trips a year, that's $40,000. And that's going to cost you somewhere around $3,000 a month in travel. And then the last thing that people typically want is, how much do you want to get where you want to go? Transportation, right? Does it require you to go by boat, helicopter, plane, car? A lot of people in the beginning, they just want a really nice car. If a really, really, really nice car that would satisfy you, or cars, let's say that you needed a $3,000 a month budget for nice cars, then look at what we have just found out. To replace your income is $5,000 a month. To live in the house that you want is $8,000 a month. To travel the way you want is $3,000 a month. To drive the car you want is $3,000 a month. 3 plus 3 is 6,000, plus 8 is 14, plus 5 is 19. This person needs $19,000 a month to produce the lifestyle that they want. Well, guess what we can reverse engineer? $19,000 a month. How much money are you going to need to be able to produce that? Let's just assume for a moment that you're doing real estate with me as one of my partners, and I can show you how to earn pretty easily 25% annual ROI. Question is, how much money would you need producing that? This is the math that I want to show you. $19,000 a month. How much is that a year? Well, I'm opening up my calculator right here. My calculator looks like that on my phone. And I say $19,000. If I need that for 12 months out of the year, that's $228,000. So here's the story problem. How much money do I need if it's earning 25% to produce $228,000 a year? Well, to actually get that number, you've got to be able to multiply that number by 4. So if I multiply that by 4, if I had $912,000, this number you can see on the screen right here, earning 25% a year, it would produce $228,000. So if your investments were producing 25% cash on cash ROI, you would only need $912,000 to produce this lifestyle and live the life that you want. If your investments are, for example, producing only 5%, then you're not going to multiply by 4, you're going to multiply by 20. And so $228,000, if you're on society's game plan, if you're earning 5%, you need $4.5 million to live that lifestyle. This is at 5% ROI, and this is at a 25% ROI. What a wild, dramatic difference. So in today's video, I really wanted you to start realizing, wait a second, there's a certain number of deals or homes for me to buy that will give me the lifestyle that I want. Let me drive the car that I want, live where I want, travel the way I want, be with who I want, and not have to have that job anymore. It's a number, and you can learn what that number is. Now, I know we covered a lot in a very short period of time. You can rewatch this video again. You can share it with somebody. Sit down with someone who's good at math. If you don't feel like you are, break it down and watch it. And break this math down and realize that for you to make enough money to support your lifestyle, you're going to have to figure out how to do the math. And math ultimately comes down to you knowing, what do you want? Today, I shared 4 questions with you. Number 1, how much money would it take to replace your current income? Because you don't want that job anymore, right? Number 2, what kind of house do you want to live in? Number 3, how much do you want to spend on travel a year? And number 4, how do you want your transportation to look? Friend, if you add all of that up, that's going to help you understand how much residual income you need. And you know what the ultimate vehicle for producing residual is? It's real estate. Listen, I wrote this book years ago. You've heard me share it on other videos before. If you don't have this yet, get yourself this book. If you've gotten the book, do yourself a favor, read the book. The book comes with a free game plan. Someone from my team will contact you and say, hey, what is your game plan? Or do you need help with the math? Or do you not understand it? You can talk with a member of my team and they can show you how many homes you need to buy, and this will show you how to do it. So thank you so much for watching today's video. I also have a video showing how I retired by the age of 26. If you click on that over here, that's another great way to understand how I took the knowledge in this book and how I put it into practice. So between that video and the free book, I hope that today's video helped you get clear on, if I were to meet Kris live and you were to say, what's your number? And then just on those 4 questions alone, you could say, that's my number, that's what I need, that's what my investments are driving towards. And then we can reverse engineer how much real estate you need to do, how fast you want to do it, to live the life of your dreams now.